Un, deux.
Good evening, everyone. From walking on sunshine, we are heading towards the light shows on the ITU tower behind me. In a moment, we're starting a bit later when the dark has come, when it's really dark outside. Welcome to everyone joining us now also online. This event from now on is live streamed on ITU social media channels and webcast, Facebook, YouTube. And we welcome our followers online. Welcome to the world. Ce soir, c'est aussi la nuit des musées à Genève. Bienvenue, Genève. Tonight is also the Geneva Museum Night, and we welcome our Geneva communities here with us. Exactly 160 years ago, ITU, the UN Agency for Digital Technologies, was founded in Paris, in France, to coordinate and regulate a rapidly evolving technology. Anyone can say which one? The telegraph. Thank you. Il y a exactement 160 ans, l'UIT, l'Agence des Nations Unies pour les technologies numériques, était fondée à Paris, en France, pour coordonner et réguler une technologie en rapide évolution, le télégraphe. Now, I have the immense pleasure, please, Doreen, to welcome the Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, Mrs. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, to join us here on stage. Good evening, Secretary General.
Yeah, thank you. Oh.
So when you joined ITU almost 30 years ago, less than 1/3 of the world population was connected to the internet, and today, 2/3 of humanity is connected. This must be a very special moment for you. 160 years, you had many milestones in 30 years, and today it's the 160th anniversary. What's your message to our guests tonight as the first head of the agency?
Yeah, well, thank you
Women
so
agency?
Thank you so much, Monica. Excellencies, fellow elected officials, current elected officials, Thomas, Cezo, Cosmos, I see you out there. Colleagues, friends, good evening. Thank you. Welcome to the real Eurovision. Now, it's quite difficult to stand up here after the ITU band and the ITU Zumba have performed. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have a rich, rich history, but we have some incredible talent in this house. It is really such a great honor to welcome you all here tonight in person, and of course, those of you that are following online, as we commemorate what is really a remarkable milestone, 160 years of the International Telecommunications Union. And of course, what a perfect night to celebrate our 160th anniversary, as Monica said, on Geneva's Museum Nights, and of course, during the finale of the Eurovision Song Contest here in Switzerland. For those of you that don't know the ITU, I think there are a few in the crowd, I'm excited to share with you tonight the story of the ITU. Tonight we'll journey through ITU's fascinating history. It's a story of global communications. It started back in 1865 when 20 countries came together in Paris to sign the International Telegraph Convention. Every time you send an email, every time you get a text, make a phone call, use your social media, that's ITU at work. Our story is also about cooperation with 194 countries, industry, academia, the technical community, and civil society working to bring the world closer together, to set global standards and ensure that technology serves people, all people. ITU is the United Nations Agency for Digital Technologies. We collaborate across the UN system here in Geneva and around the world. With WHO to advance digital health solutions, with WMO, and I'm excited that Celeste, the SG of WMO, is also here to build early warning systems, with UNICEF to make sure every school in the world has connectivity, and so much more. Our story is also a story of connection, making digital experiences meaningful, safe, and beneficial for everyone, everywhere. We've come a long way in 16 decades, and more people are online today than ever before, but our mission is far from complete. As Monica said, a third of humanity is still offline. They're at risk of being left even further behind, especially as transformative technologies like artificial intelligence reshape our world. And that's why this July, just up the road at PAL Expo, we'll be hosting ITU's AI for Good Global Summit to make sure that AI and emerging technologies serve all of humanity, no exceptions. But this is not a task for one country, one company, or one organization. It takes unity, it takes trust, and it takes a shared vision. The same spirit that brought those 20 countries together back in 1865 to create this great union. So today we celebrate the legacy of those who came before us, pioneers who saw communications not as a privilege, but as a fundamental enabler for progress, for peace, and for development. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, let's recommit to cooperation and to the mission that has guided us for 160 years, that mission to connect the world. I want to thank everyone for making tonight so special. To our staff, our amazing staff, for your dedication, your ideas, and your energy that helps to make the ITU so strong. And your families who support you, thank you for bringing your families this evening. And to our partners all around the world and all of you here today, thank you. Thank you to our, thank you. And thank you to our energetic and amazing Zumba Club. And to the incredibly talented ITU connections. Yes, they are ITU staff. If you'd like to book them for concerts, they're available. But they are just amazing. Thank you to them. And also looking forward to hearing from a couple of special guests this evening. Yunag DG, Tatiana, thank you so much for being with us. To Alan, who's also our skipper, who's going to be addressing us tonight. To Claude, our astronaut. They're going to be helping us to explore what the ITU has to do with oceans, orbits, and everything in between. I also want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for supporting tonight's celebration. Shahad, who's representing Saudi Arabia, will share some words with us as well this evening. And on a last note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank someone very special to me, and that is my amazing husband. And I want to thank him. I don't know where he is. He's here. But he's my rock and my greatest supporter. And today we celebrate our wedding anniversary. It's 29 years. And so thank you, wherever you are, Jesus. Thank you, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of the evening. And here's to the next 160 years of communication, cooperation, and connection. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General. As you said, ITU's story is one of connection. Of course, it's no coincidence that our ITU band, ITU Connections, was playing the song, "We Are Family." I got all my sisters with me. The United Nations is a family with many organizations that work on issues helping to serve humanity. In the light show, you will hear about some of the UN stories, some of the UN sister agencies that ITU works with to bring you the benefits of technology. I have the pleasure of giving the floor now to Mrs. Tatiana Valovaya, Director General of the United Nations Office at Geneva. You see the palette just in front of us. Mrs. Valovaya, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. As was already said, we're just in front of you on the other side of the Place des Nations. We're younger sibling of International Telecommunications Union. This year, we also have an anniversary, just 80 years. So you see, we're twice as young as ITU. And of course, as being much younger, we have to look what our elders are doing and learn from them. And I really think that we can learn a lot from the ITU, because the fact that ITU is celebrating 160 years and today it's more relevant than ever is something which is important for all international organizations, for the whole multilateral system. We are going now via challenging times, but we can see that if we really manage to adapt to the changing world, we will always be relevant and we will be able to work for the humanity. I'm just thinking how ITU started in 1865. At that period, famous French writer Jules Verne was just writing his famous novels about the travel to the middle of the earth, travel to the moon, etc., etc. He predicted many, many things, but he didn't predict science and technology we have today. Nobody could have expected that artificial intelligence will be here, internet will be here, and many other things. And what's important, ITU was born when Jules Verne was writing his first books, and today ITU is managing all these technological devices and connecting the world in a totally different situation. For us, it's a source of inspiration. We will learn a lot from the ITU, but there is one thing where I hope United Nations will do better than ITU. I hope we will not have to wait our 160th anniversary to have a first female Secretary General. I hope we will have one much sooner. And we can really see how female leaders of international organizations, whom we really treasure and welcome here in Geneva, are changing the world of technology, of science, of everything. Last year, together with Doreen and Fabiola from CERN, we organized an exhibition devoted to women in science and technology. And I think that's something which really shows how the progress can be done only if the whole international community is working together. So, happy anniversary, ITU, long life ITU, and I hope we will work together in the decades to come.
Thank you, Mrs. Valovaya. Okay, good. We are really happy you could join us tonight, and we hope you enjoy the evening as well. Now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mrs. Shahad Al-Balawi, the International Representation Director at the Communication Space and Technology Commission of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to say a few words. As my colleague Solina already mentioned previously, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is our ITU 160 campaign partner for the whole year. We will have other events with the general public at Sinelak, for instance, in July. So we thank you very much for that. And you are presenting us with the light show tonight in a few moments on the occasion of our 160th anniversary. Mrs. Al-Balawi, this is your floor.
Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a true honor to join you in this evening to mark a historical milestone, 160 years of the ITU International Telecommunication Union. Saudi Arabia is proud to be partner in the ITU 160 celebration, standing with nations committed to using technology for inclusion, resilience, and sustainability. This evening also coincides with World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, and this year important theme, gender equality and digital transformation. In Saudi Arabia, empowering women in the digital sector is a national priority. Between 2018 and 2024, the share of women working in ICT rose from 7% to 35%. And today, women hold almost 44% of senior and middle management positions. Thank you. We proudly support the ITU Building Network of Women Leaders initiative, strengthen mentorship, leadership, and collaboration to help women thrive in technology. Beyond gender equality, Saudi Arabia is advancing digital cooperation in key areas, from space and AI to green technology and resilient connectivity. In 2023, we reached a new milestone by sending our first female astronaut, Rayana Barnawi, to the International Space Station, making her the first Arab woman in space. Her mission is not only historical for our nation, but powerful symbol for opportunity for young women across the region. As part of our partnership with the ITU, we have jointly developed EU-West regulation adopting in multiple countries, launched initiative to bridging the digital divide using both terrestrial and non-terrestrial network, support capacity building across all ITU regions, and contribute to the global development through Partner to Connect Digital Coalition. Building on this effort, we warmly invite you to Saudi Arabia for the Global Symposium for Regulators, GSR 25, taking place from August 31st to September 3rd this year, a platform where policymakers, regulators, and industry leaders will share the future of inclusive digital regulation. Through all these efforts, we are guided by a shared purpose, building a digital future where everyone is included and no one is left behind. From sea to sky, we are and we will remain connected by ITU. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Mrs. Al-Balawi. And from the sea to the sky, that's what we're going to do now with our next two speakers. In the light show to come, you will learn that ITU provides rules and frequency resources that help ships communicate and navigate safely and reliably. While Switzerland is not bordering the sea, Geneva is a true nation of sailors, combining lakes and high technology. The yearly Bol d'Or at Lake Geneva is considered the world's largest inland regatta. Alain Rora was born in Geneva. Last year, with his high-tech boat, he participated for the third time in the prestigious Vendée Globe, which is, we can say, the Everest of the seas. Good evening, Alan.
Thank you.
In 84 days, non-stop, you completed the Everest of the Seas in the 18th position. Congratulations. Isn't that a true achievement?
Thank you.
Sailing is an adventure, and the journey can be risky. I listened to you for 2 hours. Now you have 15 minutes, but we can imagine you face challenges along the way. How did connectivity help you face the challenges and navigate and come back home safely?
It's a long story. It's a really long story. Well, thank you everybody to let me be here tonight. It's an honor to be in place of the nation. I was born in Switzerland a long time ago, 32 years ago. And I was pretty lucky to be a young children that went traveling around the world with my family. So we took a sailing boat. I was 8 years old, and we went traveling for 11 years around the world. And we had no communication. We had nothing on the boat because at that time was beginning of 2000, and it was nothing. I remember to make some call, we had to go with buying a card and go to a phone call machine. I don't know if you remember that. We had that in town, okay? When I finished this voyage, with this incredible happiness, young voyage around the world with my family, I decided to make my own life on another country. So I went back to Switzerland. I spent 3 days here, and I said, well, Switzerland, I love it, but I just want to go back sailing. And to sail, I need to go out of the lake. So I went to Brittany. And I bought my first boat, and that was 13 years ago now. And this first boat was a mini transat. It's a 6.5 meter sailing boat, and I was doing my first transatlantic alone on the boat. You had no way of communication, no radio. You've got a VHF, so like on an airplane, so you can talk with other boats, but that means that if you see the boat, you can talk to it, but if you don't see it, you can't talk to it. So it means 4 kilometers. You don't see so much boat at sea. If you want to know where you are, you've got this sextant, so it's a machine with the sun that you can know where you are on the planet. So that was my first race. In 2016, I was pretty lucky. I went through my first Vendée Globe, so around the world, single-handed on a 60-foot sailing boat. And at that time, the communication was starting to be on those machines, on those racing machines. But I had a problem with one of those systems, iridium system on the boat, and I had this portable phone iridium, like the one you can have in pocket with the antenna. So to download a weather forecast, it took me 45 minutes every day of communication. And at that time, for the Vendée Globe, it was costing me more than 25,000 euros just for forecast weather to download on the boat. So you spend 105 days at sea and you're alone on your machine. You have a connectivity, but it's pretty short, you can just download some images. And now on my previous Vendée Globe, the last one, the connectivity, for 200 euro per month, you can have internet more than home. I was calling my wife, and the communication, the quality was better on my boat than in Lorient in Brittany. So that was quite funny, but just to give you an image that what's happening on the boat right now. Why we need communication on the boat now is because those machines are more faster and more faster. Technology on cars or on boats, or we always want to do better. But better at sea, what we want to do is to turn around the world as fast as possible. So it means to have a light boat full of technology. So for example, on my boat, I've got 300 sensors. Speed, wind, light, highest flying of the boat, because this boat is flying above the sea. So you've got some foil, so you've got fiber optic. Well, a lot of things. Those information, you can send it through the land with the communication. That's one point. But the most important when you're sailing is the weather forecast. As you know, the weather forecast around the world has changed a lot. We can feel it. And I can tell you, because I turned 3 times around this world. First of all, I can tell you that the world, it's round. It's not flat. People asking me still, it is flat. I'm like, no, it's round. Whatever. We need the weather forecast on the boat to make sure that we are going on the right direction and not taking too much risk. Why? Because those machines are 8 tons of weight, 20 meters long, 18, 20 meters long. You've got 600 square meters of sail area when you're sailing. And when you go on the Southern Ocean, you can sail with about 100 kilometers of wind and see from 8 to 12 meters of height. So a bit less than that building. So when you're sailing, you just want to go on the right direction with the good condition. That's for safety. So this is really important to have that on the boat. The other point is for the security of the human. The connectivity today, when you're sailing on the boat, if you hurt yourself, you cut yourself, you break your leg, or something happening on your head, whatever is happening, you can call a doctor. And this doctor could help you live. So we got live on the boat. With the phone, like WhatsApp, for example, you can show what's happening. You got the pharmacy on the boat, and he can tell you exactly what to do and when to do it. And this is something 10 years ago was not existing at all. If you had something, if you hurt yourself, or you die, or you have to wait that someone will pick you up, and that could be 7 days alone at sea drifting. So that's another good point of that technology on the boat. We're pretty happy about it. Another point is the security of the boat. When you're sailing on those machines, they're prototypes. All the time there is stuff breaking. It's like a car, but a car you can go to the garage and say, well, this is broken, could we fix it? When you're at sea, you can't fix it like, I will stop, because the rules of the race, it's a non-stop race around the world. So if you stop, you're disqualified. So you need to have stuff on the boat to fix it. But if something breaks, even if you can't have help from the outside, but your team can help you tell you how to fix the boat, to send you some plan, some design of the boat, saying, okay, you need to put 10 layers of carbon fiber here, you need to sand this part, you need to cut this. You're still having to do it by yourself, but with this communication, it's super easy to send a picture of what's happening on the boat, what broke, and how to fix it. In the Vendée Globe, for example, in 220, so the previous one, this was not working yet. And in 4 years of time, we can have this connectivity in live. So this is pretty cool. And the biggest thing, when you're talking about connectivity on a boat, we say that sailing around the world, the Vendée Globe, it's a single-handed race with no assistance. You're sailing alone. But with all this connectivity on the boat, I heard some people saying, yeah, but you're not sailing alone anymore. Now you've got connection. You can talk with your family, you can talk with your wife, with your children, with your fathers, whatever. It's super easy to do a live video. So we did rules. When I started the race a few months ago with my wife, we said, okay, with the kids, we will do a live every Sunday. Sunday afternoon for the children, just after food, so cool, we do live. It's super cool. We did it twice. So we did it 2 weeks in 3 months of race. Why? Because even if you're really connected with people, you can be connected, you're feeling so away of the real life inland. You're on a different world when you're sailing. You can't explain to people what's happening really on the boat. It's something that it's on you, it's yours. And actually you don't really want to share what's happening because you're kind of scared that the feeling of the other will fail, because you can be sailing on a dangerous position, a lot of wind, and your family, it's home, chilling, after good food. It's so different world. So it's this kind of frontiers between the sailing life and the communication we want to do with the family. So I've called actually 3 times my wife in 3 months. And once I send a message to my parents, say, hey, Merry Christmas. And once my team, because I broke something. So even if we're really connected, we can be connected now at sea, and it helps us for security. We're still feeling quite alone in our head, and that's something really important to say. Another point is when you're sailing at sea, the safety part of it, if you break a boat, you've got few options on the boat. So you've got the NEPIR, so this is kind of a radio alarm that will send all around the world that your boat is dead and someone has to pick you up, and then it's the phone. And actually the phone saved your life. And this is something that before it was not existing. If I give you an example, about 30 years ago, first Vendée Globe, people was going sailing and they had 22 autopilots on the boat. Today we've got 2. When they left 30 years ago, they had no phone. They've got a fax on the boat. That's how they get the weather forecast 30 years ago. Now to download a weather forecast system on the boat, it took me 2 seconds. 2 seconds for 2 weeks of weather forecast. So it's security, it's performing, and actually what's cool is you can download some podcasts, because when you spend 3 months at sea alone, your only friends, it's some podcasts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alain. That was very, very inspiring. I don't think I'll have the courage to go around the world on my own, even though we'll be connected. I mean, I can't even imagine losing my phone. And I'm sure you're all here hanging on to your phones. Forget about the handbags, unless they're Hermes, right? But okay, at this juncture, we're going to start the light show soon. It takes a couple of minutes to get it ready. But while we do that, let's acknowledge that this year, the 160th year of ITU. These are the officials who are leading us. I'd like to acknowledge our Secretary General, Doreen Bogdan-Martin. Doreen, please come on stage. Thank you. And my partner in crime for this event, the Deputy Secretary General, Thomas Lamanauskas. Seizo Onoe-san, Director of TSB. Dr. Cosmas Zavazava, Director of the Development Bureau. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, these are our elected officials. Please, let's give them a big hand. And let's bow, please. Take a big bow. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'm bowing too. Okay, thank you so much. And now we're going to enjoy a light show, but don't go away. After the light show, we're going to meet the astronaut. Now, the first show is going to be narrated in English. We'll meet the astronaut. And then the second show will be narrated in French. And then my colleague Monica will tell you what's going to happen for the rest of the evening. Now, parents, your children are still there. Please watch over them. We're very worried that they might wander around. But whilst you enjoy the show, do keep an eye on the kids. There is still food and drink that side. Yes, we're going to start. Monica, are you here? All right, I'm handing over to Monica. She's going to tell you about the light show. We're cranking it up. Right, back to you, Monica.
The ITU tower is 15 stories tall. That is 57 meters. In the early 70s, when the architects conceived the tower, it was revolutionary because nothing should be higher than the cathedral in Geneva, Saint-Pierre. During daylight, you could see the aluminum panels of the facade create an effect of light and shadow like a sculpture. Now, the light show will turn the facade into a presentation wall for the very first time in ITU's history and at the Place des Nations. We thank the Geneva police for their guidance and support in making this light show possible at this juncture of the city. Join me now in counting down to the first light show from 16 to 1. That's 16 decades of ITU history. We would have to wait a long time if we would count down from 160 days. So let's count loud and clear. With me, please. Doreen, the other elected officials, everyone from Geneva, from the diplomatic community. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Geneva, Switzerland, and the world. The beep you just heard, that was the sound of the electric telegraph, the big bang of global communications. That signal marked my beginning. I am the International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Agency for Digital Technologies. People who know me call me ITU. And I am pleased to take you on a journey through 160 years of technology for humanity right here on my tower. It all started with a breakthrough. Messages could travel long distances in a very short time. But there was a problem. Whenever messages crossed a national border, they had to be stopped and translated into a different system. This caused delays and made it expensive to send messages. To fix this, 20 countries met in Paris in the spring of 1865 to create a universal system that would make it easier for people in different countries to communicate. On May 17th, 1865, they created me to coordinate and regulate this rapidly evolving technology for the benefit of humanity. Shortly before, in 1858, the first telegraph cable was laid between Europe and America. Today, nearly all internet traffic travels via cables under the sea. These cables are the lifelines of the global digital economy, but they also are vulnerable to damage and disruption. I promote and facilitate efforts to enhance the resilience of submarine cables. We also communicate using radio waves, which are all around us. They're invisible, natural, limited resources. In 1897, the first radio communication sent sound through the air without wires over 14 kilometers. Since 1906, I have coordinated the global use of the radio spectrum through the international agreement known as the ITU radio regulations. I make sure that the growing number of services that use radio waves from mobile phones to satellites can work without getting in each other's way. That same year, I established SOS as the International Distress Signal at Sea. Today, 80% of global goods are transported by sea. I provide rules and frequency resources that help ships communicate and navigate reliably and securely. To keep the global economy moving and to bring people to any place in the world, I work with the International Maritime Organization. In the late 1950s, the first satellites launched us into the wonder of the space era. Just a few years later, I began ensuring fair and reliable access to satellites and orbits for ITU member states that need them. Thanks to this, you can navigate without a paper map, check the weather before getting on your bike, stream podcasts on the train, and much more. Many of us use the internet to learn, work, shop, and play. In 1976, I published an important internet standard which allowed different computer networks to speak to each other and work together. It laid the foundation for the modern internet. Thanks to me, you can now send messages, watch films, and look at your socials in a car, at home, on a bus, on planes, at sea, all from the palm of your hand. Every time you call someone abroad, you are connected by ITU. Since 1984, I've given each country its own country code. Switzerland's code is +41, so every call knows where to go. I also manage the world's emergency phone numbers from 112 to 999 to 911. The same year, I issued the world's first standard for compressing digital video, making files lighter, easier to store, and faster to stream. The MPEG-1 standard was just the beginning. Over time, I have been bringing ever more true-to-life color and vision for your viewing pleasure. My video and image coding standards earned me 6 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Achievement in Television. We see and feel the effects. Heat waves, storms, floods, and droughts are on the rise. I work with the United Nations family, including my neighbor, the World's Meteorological Organization, to use digital technologies to bring you early warnings. The warnings alert people in danger and save lives. Your ears are vulnerable like eggs. If they crack, there's no way back. I collaborate with the World Health Organization just up the hill to develop standards that protect your hearing, especially when you're listening to music or playing video games. We also work together on how artificial intelligence can improve health around the world. I am also there to help you stay safe and have fun online when you start exploring the internet, whether you're talking to friends, watching videos, or gaming. Remember, think before you click, protect your personal information, be kind to others online, and always speak up if something doesn't feel right. Connecting schools opens up a whole world of knowledge. Together with UNICEF, I lead the GIGA initiative, which stands out for its ambitious goal of supporting governments to connect every school to the internet by the year 2030. So far, GIGA has mapped over 2.1 million schools in 142 countries using technologies such as satellite imagery and machine learning. In 2022 alone, the world generated 62 billion kilograms of electronic waste. I support countries in developing their regulation to help manage e-waste. You can play a part too by reusing, recycling, reducing, or repairing your phones and computers. You help cut pollution and save energy. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and quantum computing are reshaping our world, promising faster, safer, and smarter connectivity. But we must make sure they bridge divides, not widen them. Today, about a third of humanity, 2.6 billion people, are still offline. I bring leaders, businesses, governments, and young innovators to the same table so they can work together to use new technologies for the best of humanity. Connecting everyone everywhere remains my most ambitious goal, but I am not alone. I am a union. I am proud to count on 194 member states and more than 1,000 companies, universities, and other organizations to advance technology.
I thought that was spectacular when I first saw it last night. I think you feel the same way. Yeah, please give a clap again, please. Please, please, please. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. I hope you enjoyed the narration by my colleague Vinola. Vinola, if you're here, please come to the front. It's wonderful. We have one person to thank for this many. Monica led the team that developed this wonderful show. Monica, well done. Ines from Lost and Found. You are being paid to the stage. Ines from Lost and Found. Okay, let's put the phone down a little bit. You might have noticed that one of our executive supporters is not going to execute. Mario, our director of the business we miss it. Senior radio communications engineer at ITU and a woman in tech, like Selena, like Doreen, like me, and like many others working at ITU. She will have a dialogue with Monsieur Nicollier. What nurtures our imagination? Good evening, Veronique.
What is interesting is that 1865, that was only a few years after Maxwell published these famous Maxwell equations, which describes all of electromagnetism and the behavior of the electric field and magnetic field. All these four equations, which are all related. I'm sure that you all know these equations. You even resolve them in school. In secondary school, you resolve all these partial differential equations of Maxwell. But I think it's interesting that ITU was created just a few years after these fundamental equations of electromagnetism were published. And there is another conjunction. Jules Verne's On a marché sur la Lune was also published in 1865. And that's, of course, it was a great book about exploration of space. By that time, going into space meant going to the moon. And there was a big gun in Florida ejecting this bullet with astronauts on board going to the moon. So I think on one hand, Maxwell's equation and On a marché sur la Lune from Jules Verne, at the same time as ITU was born. Again, congratulations ITU for this anniversary.
Thank you. And so you made us dream, not only traveling, but also living and working on the moon. So how did you feel the first time you saw the Earth from space?
Well, of course, it's a very, very special experience. Of course, we went up there on shuttle missions, which were typically about a 10-day duration. And we spent relatively little time looking at the Earth because there's so much work to do in a short mission. But sometimes we had 1 or an hour and a half of free time to look at the Earth. And of course, it's extremely spectacular. And the main thing is the perspective. And the awareness that you get. Because when we are on the surface of the Earth, we see buildings and hills and mountains which are a few hundred meters away or a few kilometers away. And when you're up there, Hubble, which I visited on 2 occasions, was at 600 kilometers altitude. And the horizon is at 2,500 kilometers distance. So you see a whole area of the Earth, which is about 5,000 kilometers in diameter. So it's it's amazing to see such a large area of the Earth. And of course, you go around the Earth in an hour and a half. On low Earth orbit, at 28,000 kilometers an hour. It takes only an hour and a half to go around the Earth, or you go 16 times around the Earth in a terrestrial day. So you become aware of, on one hand, the small size of the Earth. I know that it takes a while to go around the Earth in 84 days for Vendée Globe 2024. For us, we go around the Earth in an hour and a half. And the beauty of the Earth is breathtaking. And the sunrises, the sunsets, the views of a large mountain chain like the Himalaya or the Andes is really breathtaking. And for me, the first impression that I had of looking at the Earth from space was a beauty, incredible beauty.
Thank you. And now I would like to speak about radio frequencies, which is the resource we manage here at ITU. So radio frequencies are all around us, but completely invisible, and from thousands of kilometers away in space, yet you've been kept connected to the Earth thanks to the radio frequency. So does that inspire you?
Yeah, of course, we're always connected to the Earth. In fact, the boss of the mission is in the Mission Control Center in Houston. It's a flight director. Either he or she is really the boss of the mission. And of course, we have constant communication with the Earth via satellites in the geostationary orbit, 36,000 kilometers away from the Earth. But we had nearly constant, as we were going around the Earth, constant communication capability with the Mission Control Center. And of course, this is the magic of the communication, whether it's here in the atmosphere or outside from space. Without that capability, there would be no human spaceflight. There would not have been any, and there would not be now.
So connection is very important.
Connection is important, yeah. In a way, you get the connection because of this incredible visual impression of the Earth from space on one hand, and also the communication. You never feel alone when you're on a spacecraft because you have that communication visual on one hand, as long as you are close to the Earth, and of course radio communication with a mission control center and sometimes with your family.
Which is very important when we are far away. Yeah. I wanted to speak about your new book, Trois destins entre terre et ciel, yeah. 3 destinies between earth and sky. And you speak about the art of resilience. So what does it mean to you, the art of resilience?
Yeah, resilience is a feature such that when you have a goal, you try to reach a goal, and it's difficult. There are a lot of obstacles and problems, either technical or other kind of problems. And the resilience is the capability of reaching your objective despite all the obstacles and the problems. And of course, when we have a space mission, it's not the goal is set pretty high, and we all have all kind of obstacles, and you need resilience in order to reach the goal. And in case of the Hubble Space Telescope program, in fact, resilience was needed to finally get this magnificent treasure in the sky for astronomers and for the public to work properly, because initially when it was put to orbit in April 1990, it was suffering from a significant optical problem, and it was really very bad situation, and at some point the idea was to just abandon Hubble because it was not working. But on one hand, the technicians and scientists and industrial teams in the US designed, tested, and put together optical correction system, which I was happy to be among the crew that went to install it. That was in 1993. So I think the whole Hubble Space Telescope program showed a lot of resilience. The idea to reach a goal of having an instrument in the Earth orbit with incredible capability in terms of resolution and precision of pictures of galaxies and faraway objects in the sky. But it was a difficult road, a tough road. And in fact, when I think about Alan Hura, God knows that he had a lot of resilience as well. Resilience in a different environment, but these 84 days that he took for the last Vendée Globe from November last year until the 3rd of February this year, and God knows that he needed a lot of resilience because he had a problem from mental and physical condition. Passing the Cape Horn is very difficult on the Vendée Globe. It's much easier when you're at 600 kilometers altitude on Earth orbit because there are no waves and no turbulence. But I admire Alan Hura a lot because he had so much resilience and incredible achievement that he did in these 3 Vendée Globes, especially the last one. I followed that pretty closely, and I'm full of admiration for Alan Hura. Congratulations, Alan.
Yeah. So, thank you, Claude Nicolier, for being with us tonight.
It was a pleasure. And one thing I want to mention also, we have a bright object just on the top of the tower, a little bit on the right side. This is planet Mars.
Yeah.
So for the future astronauts who are here, someday you may have the possibility to go to that little red planet, but it's an 8-month voyage, so you need to take some food with you and some...
And learn from the Vendée Globe.
And you will need a lot of resilience as well.
Exactly.
This is planet Mars.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening and thank you very much.
Voilà, on passe maintenant au light show, spectacle son et lumière en français pour nos amis genevois et francophones. On restera en ligne pour tout le monde sur nos réseaux sociaux. Et après le light show, je vous prie, et vous pouvez déjà préparer, je vous prie de prendre vos téléphones, vos smartphones et de mettre le flashlight en même temps après le light show, et on va le filmer par drone et par vidéo, et aussi de la position de la tour pour que tout le monde voit à quel point on est connecté. So we will have the light show now in French, and I already would like to ask you to take out your smartphones and flashlights for a photo and an aerial drone view filming, so we can all show the world how we're connected by ITU and connected this evening here in Geneva. We will count down now, so the régie knows when to start the light show in French, de 16 à 1. S'il vous plaît, rejoignez-moi pour compter de 16 à 1. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bonsoir Genève, bonsoir la Suisse et le monde entier. Le signal sonore que vous venez d'entendre, c'était le son du tout premier télégraphe électrique, le Big Bang des communications mondiales. Ce signal m'a donné naissance. Je suis l'Union internationale des télécommunications, l'Agence des Nations Unies pour les technologies numériques. Ceux qui me connaissent m'appellent l'UIT. et j'ai le plaisir de vous faire traverser, depuis ma tour, 160 ans de connectivité au service de l'humanité. Tout a commencé par une innovation. À cette époque, les messages pouvaient déjà parcourir de longues distances en très peu de temps. Mais lorsqu'ils arrivaient à une frontière, ils devaient être traduits dans un système différent. Cela entraînait des retards et rendait l'envoi des messages très coûteux. Pour y remédier, 20 pays se sont réunis à Paris au printemps 1865 pour créer un système universel destiné à faciliter les communications entre les habitants de différents pays. Le 17 mai 1865, ils m'ont créé pour coordonner et réglementer cette technologie en pleine évolution au service de l'humanité. Peu de temps auparavant, en 1865, le premier câble télégraphique avait été posé entre l'Europe et l'Amérique. Aujourd'hui, la quasi-totalité du trafic Internet transite par des câbles sous-marins. Véritables artères de l'économie numérique mondiale, ces câbles sont néanmoins vulnérables aux dommages et aux perturbations. Consciente de ces enjeux, je soutiens et je facilite les efforts visant à accroître leur résilience. Nous communiquons aussi grâce aux ondes radio qui se trouvent tout autour de nous. Ces ondes sont des ressources invisibles, naturelles et limitées. C'est en 1897 que la première communication radio a transmis un son dans l'air sans fil, sur une distance de 14 km. Et depuis 1906, je coordonne l'utilisation mondiale du spectre radio dans le cadre de l'accord international connu sous le nom de Règlement des radiocommunications de l'UIT. Je veille à ce que le nombre croissant de services utilisant les ondes radio, des téléphones mobiles aux satellites, puisse fonctionner correctement sans se gêner. La même année, j'ai établi le SOS comme signal international de détresse en mer. Aujourd'hui, 80% des marchandises mondiales sont transportées par voie maritime. Je fournis des règles et des fréquences qui aident les navires à communiquer et à naviguer de manière fiable et sûre. Pour assurer le bon fonctionnement de l'économie mondiale et permettre aux personnes de se rendre n'importe où dans le monde, je collabore avec l'Organisation maritime internationale. À la fin des années 50, les premiers satellites nous ont fait entrer dans l'ère fascinante de l'espace. Quelques années plus tard, j'ai commencé à assurer un accès équitable et fiable aux satellites en orbite pour les États membres de l'UIT qui en ont besoin. Désormais, vous pouvez vous déplacer sans carte papier, vérifier la météo avant de prendre votre vélo, écouter des podcasts dans le train et bien plus encore. Beaucoup d'entre nous utilisent Internet pour apprendre, travailler, faire des achats ou se divertir. En 1976, j'ai publié une norme Internet essentielle qui a permis aux différents réseaux informatiques de communiquer entre eux et de fonctionner ensemble. Cela a posé les fondements de l'Internet moderne. Grâce à moi, vous pouvez aujourd'hui envoyer des messages, regarder des films et consulter vos réseaux sociaux en voiture, à la maison, dans un bus, en avion, en mer, tout cela au creux de votre main. Chaque fois que vous appelez quelqu'un à l'étranger, vous êtes connecté par l'UIT. Depuis 1984, j'ai donné à chaque pays son propre indicatif. Celui de la Suisse est le +41, pour que chaque appel sache où aller. Et je gère également les numéros d'urgence du monde entier. La même année, j'ai publié la première norme mondiale pour la compression des vidéos numériques, permettant aux fichiers d'être plus légers, faciles à stocker et rapides à visionner. MPEG 1 n'était que le début. Au fil du temps, j'ai apporté des images et des couleurs toujours plus réalistes pour votre plus grand plaisir. Mes normes de codage vidéo et d'image m'ont d'ailleurs valu 6 Emmy Awards pour réalisation exceptionnelle dans le domaine de la télévision. Aujourd'hui, le temps presse. Nous voyons et ressentons les effets, les vagues de chaleur, tempêtes, inondations et sécheresses se multiplient. Je travaille avec la famille des Nations Unies, y compris mon voisin, l'Organisation météorologique mondiale, afin d'utiliser les technologies numériques pour vous avertir à temps. Ces alertes permettent de prévenir les personnes en danger et de sauver des vies. Vos oreilles sont comme des œufs fragiles. Si elles cassent, c'est irréversible. Je collabore avec l'Organisation mondiale de la santé pour développer des normes qui protègent votre audition, surtout lorsque vous écoutez de la musique et jouez à un jeu vidéo. Ensemble, nous travaillons aussi pour faire en sorte que l'intelligence artificielle améliore la santé dans le monde. Je suis également là pour vous aider à rester en sécurité et à vous amuser lorsque vous commencez à explorer Internet et à jouer et communiquer en ligne. N'oubliez pas, réfléchissez avant de cliquer, protégez vos données personnelles, soyez bienveillants envers les autres et signalez tout ce qui vous semble anormal. Connecter les écoles, c'est offrir aux élèves des possibilités infinies d'apprentissage. Aux côtés de l'UNICEF, je pilote l'initiative GIGA, qui se distingue par son objectif ambitieux, aider les gouvernements à connecter chaque école à Internet d'ici 2030. À ce jour, GIGA a cartographié plus de 2,1 millions d'écoles dans 142 pays, en s'appuyant sur des technologies telles que l'imagerie satellite et l'apprentissage automatique. En 2022, le monde a produit 62 milliards de kilogrammes de déchets électroniques. J'aide les pays à élaborer une réglementation pour mieux gérer ces déchets électroniques. Et vous aussi, vous pouvez agir en réutilisant, recyclant, réduisant ou réparant vos téléphones et ordinateurs. Vous contribuez à réduire la pollution et à économiser de l'énergie. Les technologies émergentes telles que l'intelligence artificielle et l'informatique quantique redéfinissent notre monde, promettant une connectivité plus rapide, plus sûre et plus intelligente. Mais nous devons nous assurer qu'elles réduisent les inégalités et non qu'elles les amplifient. Aujourd'hui, environ un tiers de l'humanité, soit 2,6 milliards de personnes, est toujours privée d'Internet. Je rassemble les dirigeants, entreprises, gouvernements et jeunes innovateurs autour de la même table, afin qu'ils puissent travailler ensemble à l'utilisation des nouvelles technologies au service de l'humanité. Connecter tout le monde et en tout lieu reste mon objectif le plus ambitieux. Mais je ne suis pas seule, je suis une union. Je suis fière de pouvoir compter sur 194 États membres et plus de 1000 entreprises, universités et autres organisations pour faire progresser la technologie pour le bien de tous. Comme dans chaque communauté, nous ne sommes pas toujours d'accord sur la manière de résoudre un problème. Mais depuis 160 ans, mes membres ont cherché et adopté les meilleures solutions possibles pour le monde. Je vous remercie du plus profond de mon cœur. Je peux également compter sur mon personnel dévoué, celles et ceux qui, chaque jour, transforment ma vision en action. Ils sont mon moteur, celui de l'Union internationale des télécommunications. Merci infiniment.
Merci beaucoup. J'aimerais bien remercier Sophie Guerra, la voix que vous avez juste entendue pour la version française du spectacle Son et Lumière sur les 160 ans de l'UIT. Et maintenant, comme je vous ai demandé à l'avance, merci de prendre vos téléphones avec le flashlight. Pas de lumière, s'il vous plaît. Régie, pas de lumière. En haut, pour montrer au monde et à ceux qui nous suivent encore en ligne que nous sommes tous connectés, toutes connectées par l'UIT, et ici, ce soir, à Genève, ici à la Place des Nations. Merci beaucoup.
Wave those flashlights. Wave them. We are the world. We are ITU. Ready? Yeah, that's nice. That's really, really pretty. Well done. Give yourselves a big hand. So we've come to the end of the evening, and we'd like to say thank you to all our colleagues and friends who are actually online. We had about 500 to 600 people watching the live stream. Thank you, all those who are online. Thank you, colleagues and friends who are still with us this evening. We are going to have music. The DJ is going to entertain us, so feel free to stay. The images will be played on the building. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this evening, and please take in the fill of these images. It's not going to be often that we do this. Now, on behalf of Monica and I, we want to thank you and wish you a very pleasant evening. Thank you and happy birthday, ITU!
And I am pleased to tune in. Good evening, Geneva. Good evening, Geneva, Switzerland, and the world. The beep you just heard? That was the sound of the electric telegraph, the big bang of global communications. That signal marked my beginning. I am the International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Agency for Digital Technologies. People who know me call me ITU, and I am pleased to take you on a journey through 160 years of technology for humanity right here on my tower. It all started with a breakthrough. Messages could travel long distances in a very short time. But there was a problem. Whenever messages crossed a national border, they had to be stopped and translated into a different system. This caused delays and made it expensive to send messages. To fix this, 20 countries met in Paris in the spring of 1865 to create a universal system that would make it easier for people in different countries to communicate. On May 17th, 1865, they created me to coordinate and regulate this rapidly evolving technology for the benefit of humanity. Shortly before, in 1858, the first telegraph cable was laid between Europe and America. Today, nearly all internet traffic travels via cables under the sea. These cables are the lifelines of the global digital economy, but they also are vulnerable to damage and disruption. I promote and facilitate efforts to enhance the resilience of submarine cables. We also communicate using radio waves, which are all around us. They're invisible, natural, limited resources. In 1897, the first radio communication sent sound through the air without wires over 14 kilometers. Since 1906, I have coordinated the global use of the radio spectrum through the international agreement known as the ITU radio regulations. I make sure that the growing number of services that use radio waves from mobile phones to satellites can work without getting in each other's way. That same year, I established SOS as the International Distress Signal at Sea. Today, 80% of global goods are transported by sea. I provide rules and frequency resources that help ships communicate and navigate reliably and securely. To keep the global economy moving and to bring people to any place in the world, I work with the International Maritime Organization. In the late 1950s, the first satellites launched us into the wonder of the space era. Just a few years later, I began ensuring fair and reliable access to satellites and orbits for ITU member states that need them. Thanks to this, you can navigate without a paper map, check the weather before getting on your bike, stream podcasts on the train, and much more. Many of us use the internet to learn, work, shop, and play. In 1976, I published an important internet standard which allowed different computer networks to speak to each other and work together. It laid the foundation for the modern internet. Thanks to me, you can now send messages, watch films, and look at your socials in a car, at home, on a bus, on planes, at sea, all from the palm of your hand. Every time you call someone abroad, you are connected by ITU. Since 1984, I've given each country its own country code. Switzerland's code is +41, so every call knows where to go. I also manage the world's emergency phone numbers from 112 to 999 to 911. The same year, I issued the world's first standard for compressing digital video, making files lighter, easier to store, and faster to stream. The MPEG-1 standard was just the beginning. Over time, I have been bringing ever more true-to-life color and vision for your viewing pleasure. My video and image coding standards earned me 6 Emmy Awards for outstanding achievement in television. We see and feel the effects. Heat waves, storms, floods, and droughts are on the rise. I work with the United Nations family, including my neighbor, the World's Meteorological Organization, to use digital technologies to bring you early warnings. The warnings alert people in danger and save lives. Your ears are vulnerable like eggs. If they crack, there's no way back. I collaborate with the World Health Organization just up the hill to develop standards that protect your hearing, especially when you're listening to music or playing video games. We also work together on how artificial intelligence can improve health around the world. I am also there to help you stay safe and have fun online when you start exploring the internet, whether you're talking to friends, watching videos, or gaming. Remember, think before you click, protect your personal information, be kind to others online, and always speak up if something doesn't feel right. Connecting schools opens up a whole world of knowledge. Together with UNICEF, I lead the GIGA initiative, which stands out for its ambitious goal of supporting governments to connect every school to the internet by the year 2030. So far, GIGA has mapped over 2.1 million schools in 142 countries using technologies such as satellite imagery and machine learning. In 2022 alone, the world generated 62 billion kilograms of electronic waste. I support countries in developing their regulation to help manage e-waste. You can play a part too. By reusing, recycling, reducing, or repairing your phones and computers, you help cut pollution and save energy. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and quantum computing are reshaping our world, promising faster, safer, and smarter connectivity. But we must make sure they bridge divides, not widen them. Today, about a third of humanity, 2.6 billion people, are still offline. I bring leaders, businesses, governments, and young innovators to the same table so they can work together to use new technologies for the best of humanity. Connecting everyone everywhere remains my most ambitious goal, but I am not alone. I am a union. I am proud to count on 194 member states and more than 1,000 companies, universities, and other organizations to advance technology for good and for all. Like any global community, we don't always agree on how to solve every problem. But for 160 years, my members have managed to search for and find the best possible solution for all. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I can also count on my dedicated employees, the people who turn vision into action every day. They are the heartbeat of me, the International Telecommunication Union. Thank you.